Hi, everybody. So, I have a really exciting session that I'm doing here today. This is for Amanda. This is a spiritual home and land cleansing session, and we're going to be focusing on a business today. And the business is a gambling establishment. So, it's going to be really cool to go into the spiritual atmosphere of the space and see what is there, and then do the energy work in order to raise the vibrational frequency. I've actually done a session for Amanda for the same gambling establishment, which was really interesting. Some of the background issues they've noticed there's some weird kind of ghost activity going on, and then just kind of an overall, like, they're really wanting to raise like more of a positive environment. Obviously we're looking at a gambling establishment, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Some of the messages that came out of that session were to look at a way of making it like a human ascension, but it's a gambling establishment ascension. So like putting up really positive like posters, making people feel like really good about themselves on a positive level, like reminding people that they're beautiful inside and out and stuff like that. And then encouraging like a really healthy like juice bar or something like that. The actual gambling establishment encouraged this. So the gambling establishment has its own kind of consciousness and vibrational frequency, and it wants to know what its identity is. So that's why it's sort of pulling like the energy of the space, the people that are frequenting the space are sort of creating a vibrational identity. And so that vibrational identity is attracting other identities of the same frequency. So we're working on kind of lightening the mood, bringing in the positive energies that are inspiring people to just to inspire more of a positive experience. So I'm just going to stop there. I want to get started. Amanda, you're awesome. Thank you so much for exploring the session with me and for sharing this openly for others. Um, and then one other thing before I start, my friend Joseph Bradley, he's also done a session too. So we've been doing work for this place, and it's really cool to see what's on the other side of what is like a gambling establishment. So, all right, I'm just going to relax here. Okay, so the first thing I see, so I'm just entering into the spiritual atmosphere of the space, and there's a density that's it's sort of like cloaking me and kind of making me feel like denser, just heavier feeling. In the process of entering, there's kind of like a little hole that's opening up. There's sort of like a kind of a I don't know, thick like putty substance, and then a tiny little like red spot. So I'm just like the little red spot is like the beginning of a doorway, but it's kind of covered or cloaked in this like goop. So I feel I feel mentally, I feel emotionally, I feel like I've just been run over by a train. I mean, I feel really heavy. I feel like a sadness inside myself. I see what is a man standing outside of a door. It's extremely cold outside. He has a top hat on. Sort of reminds me of Ebenezer Scrooge. Is that who it is? He's kind of the rich duck, and then where it's like Tiny Tim and the Christmas Carol. There's something about this that it's sort of this scene is really reminding me of a man that has extraordinary wealth on a very, very cold day, but there's still something about his heart that doesn't seem to have a lot of wealth inside of it. He seems downtrodden for the way that he's dressed. He's knocking on a door. It's kind of like 1800s type of effect. I'm looking down the street. It sort of reminds me of the Christmas Carol story. This is really getting sadder. There's again what is like a scene of a mirror and shattered glass. I can even hear the sound of breaking glass and then sort of shattering. Lives are being shattered. He's still knocking on the door, trying to get inside, just waiting for somebody to open the door to allow him to enter. Again, my heart feels very heavy. It's just, there's two different things that happen. In the process of waiting for somebody to enter, there's a split second where I feel the door opening and there's warmth that greets me on the inside. Like I feel a warm fire on an extremely cold day. And it's just a warm welcoming. But on the other side, nobody ever opens the door. It's always sort of locked out of the warmth. And it feels just cold and lonely and kind of devastating out here. I feel lost. I feel like I don't have a home. It's even stranger because this man, he really reminds me of the way he is dressed is sort of proper, but the more I look at him, he has a top hat on, but his clothes are starting to look more and more drab and dreary. It's sort of the way he's dressed is starting to remind me of the way that it feels here. It's cold. It's sort of reminding me of the little matchstick girl now because things are getting colder and more sort of hopeless and withdrawn, and it feels like there's not much choice left. I just feel like I'm kind of withering into a cold corner on a Christmas day with nobody. I mean, it's really sad. The consciousness of the establishment is contemplating this scene with me, wants me to talk about this. It says the establishment said this is inside of my heart. This scene is inside of my heart. How do I bring warmth to people's lives who are at the end of their road? Is what it's like. How do I become a gift to the little matchstick girl? How do I help this man? How do I become the one that opens the door? He says the doorway is inside of these people, but instead of going inside themselves to find the warmth and the rejuvenation and the life force energy, they then knock on my door without knocking. They just walk in and then they continue to move themselves into a state of sort of shambles. This is creating tears. This is creating sadness. I'm talking to the establishment about what I had seen before and the other scenes that were similar, that were sort of attracting other frequencies into the space. And what we had talked about really creating a positive environment and continuing to raise the vibrational frequency to kind of create like a healthy atmosphere instead of the reminder of people sort of allowing themselves to express all their emotions and their feelings in this space, to sort of have a moment of entertainment, a moment of hope, and then leave with nothing kind of thing. But that's not the truth because this place is different. This place is full of something different. The establishment wants to show me more things. Just a moment. It wants to show me Amanda and Amanda's husband. It shows me Amanda and Amanda's husband are golden lights. Their hearts are like warm sunlights. Specifically showing me Amanda. The other is really deep and solid, as inner strength, but also kind of there's something about not coming all the way out of that strength and something about the golden light. Just a moment, I'm still analyzing this. He's smiling. Your gambling established. He is the way it feels. It feels like a masculine identity is smiling at me, as we explore Amanda and her husband. And he shows me the two merged are very bright, very loving souls, tender, loving souls that care. He shows me these tender, loving souls are the type that would give a warm home to the matchstick girl. that would do whatever they can to make it a better world for people who are downtrodden. The gambling establishment, is having a moment of emotion, is actually crying for a moment. He shows me as a bellyache because he wants to be like Amanda and her husband. He feels more like he is a dungeon for people to release their greatest, all these other emotions. He's not sure how he's supposed to heal people. And he wants to heal people the way Amanda and her husband heal people, with their presence and their loving hearts, with their deep soul energy. He wants to be like them. And bringing Amanda and her husband into this gambling establishment, into the doorway, he wants them to walk around and see the inside. I see two totally different frequencies. One is like a bright sun, and the other one is sort of like a very unusual rock. It's very like a dark, unusual rock. One is sort of denser, one is really light frequency. One is on one side of like a row of machines, like you could pull and then win money, and then there's sort of the heavy rock, and then the bright sun. They're walking alongside each other on two different sides of the machines, down a row. Nobody is in here, only these two. Amanda, you turn and you look at your husband, who turns to look at you. You feel something different inside your heart, and he too picks up on it as well. You have magical souls. We're sort of, it's distorting the scene, but your arms are going beyond these lottery machines. You're touching your hands together. You're both closing your eyes, and you're both using each other's energy frequencies to completely alter transform this whole place. Actually transform it into something else. Actually uprooting the old structures and transforming this into something totally different. You close your eyes and your heart does all the work. You don't know what it looks like yet, but there is something more here. That is the reason for this, is a part of your discovery, a part of your life journey, and a part of the types of souls that you are and what you're really meant to accomplish. And the establishment knows this about both of you and really wants you to use this establishment for other purposes. Like, it wants to be a healing center for the little matchstick girl. Like, it wants these people to be coming in and receiving healing and transformation, not healing with the lottery machines, but actually healing with real human beings, with really extraordinary souls and hearts, like Amanda, you and your husband have. You guys have really amazing, ancient, wise souls, and that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. There's something changing here. The gambling establishment wants you to close your eyes and visualize the space totally empty. No machines, no tables, no nothing. He wants you to ask your heart, if I could have a place, any kind of place that I own, or I'm gifting to this world to change the world, what would I fill this space with? He says, your love. You will fill this space with your love. And what can your love accomplish for people, to change people's lives? He's saying a lot. He's really emphasizing, this is not who you truly are. And oddly enough, the space, it's interesting because the space has wisdom and it's sort of um it's a wise consciousness. And its wise consciousness is like it has its own higher self that is sort of directing your life pathway. Like it's wanting to help you and it's wanting to work with you. It's wanting to teach you about yourselves, but it also wants to explore its own identity too. Asks me, it wants me to tell you, I mean, it shows me a picture, but it wants you to have this. It's sort of like a, you know, seeing on the other side of the fence. I'm going to step into somebody else's shoes. This gambling establishment wants you to step into his shoes. Now your body is the gambling establishment, and your emotional gut region and heart portal is a doorway for lots of patrons that are like splinters that are coming in and splintering out your gut region and your heart portal with their wounds. People are bringing their baggage into your space and trying to heal in your space. And so they're releasing a lot of their baggage inside of you, and so now you are feeling their pain and suffering, their wounds inside of yourself. He says, this is how I feel every day. But he doesn't want you to feel just like upset or weird or unhappy. He smiles and he says, I'm not a human being, remember, I'm a gambling establishment. So I can tolerate this in a different level than you. It's really wise, and he's just wanting to give you perspective. That's all. He's not wanting to hurt you or upset you. He's just wanting to give you perspective on what this is about. Now he wants to give you perspective again. This time he's opening his doors, and it's a new type of it's people. So hold on just a moment. There's an energy shift in this process of telling you the story. So just a moment while I catch up. He says the dream hasn't been processed fully yet. But he shows me an establishment where the splinters go and they turn into light. And when the pain and suffering turns into love, now the love grows and everybody becomes lights. He says that that's what is happening inside of himself when the splinters come in, but they heal their wounds with love and nourishment and honest healing, not healing that is distracting them from healing the true healing. It's some sort of illusionary healing that they're experiencing. Illusionary fun, illusionary excitement, illusionary healing. It's not true. It's not what their body nourishment really needs. So it's distracting them from what they truly need. He says that when the splinters come in my doorway and they turn into lights, I feel the light inside myself. I feel the transformation inside myself. I feel reborn and rejuvenated. I feel healthy and alive. And now they too feel healthy and alive. And now look at the world is full of lights. And he shows me Christmas time and all the lights that are lit up. He says those are souls on earth experiencing love and healing and letting their light shine because they are in joy and happiness that is truly honest within themselves and with their true identity, with their true pathway. He wants you and your husband to focus on giving this gift. He's wanting to raise the bar from what we saw originally. We're going to raise the bar and with higher expectations this time, because he wants to look at an ascended version of a gambling establishment now, a step up from where we were before. We're raising the frequency, we're raising the bar, has no machines in it, has no tables. for gambling. It is specifically for the healing of people on a deep and nurturing way. He says you both will have ideas and figure this out. It sounds like something you're already kind of moving towards, or something you're kind of contemplating about this year, and he's really aligned with that. He says that it's very strange. How am I supposed to put it? If you are not able to accomplish that in this space, for instance, and you had to find a totally new space, new energy space, he says, my heart is always with you, no matter where you go. He loves watching you both, and he loves that he has the opportunity to manifest transfer a transformed perspective, transformed pathway, because he says that now he feels um, that more of these wounded, he is making an impact in their lives because he's making an impact on both of you. Just a moment here. I'm actually kind of curious to see if I want to actually go into this consciousness more. I want to get more of a I want to get more I want to see more of it. I can't. I'm not allowed. I'm not seeing any more of it. The way that it was like, you feel you're more than just a gambling establishment. You feel like, honestly, it feels like what is like a really high, wise male persona that is coming from outer space. It's coming from starlight. Let's just put it that way. I know it sounds really crazy, but so I'm trying to feed into the thread to see what would be like a very unusual looking man that comes from starlight. But I can't see it. I'm still seeing what is just like a gambling establishment. But the heart of this is something more extraordinary. He's smiling at me. I'm back down to the gambling establishment, and so I've seen him the same way I've been. And it's just like what would be like like the structure of a house, and it's got like a little round ball in one of the corners with a happy face that smiles at me. Like it shows me this, that it's smiling at me as I'm trying to learn more about it. He likes that I want to know more about it, that I'm not going to ignore him, but actually find him to be wise and helpful, and a good friend even. That makes him feel like he has a good purpose, because that's what he wants to be, is that. Things are changing again. It's a dense heaviness. There's sorrow connected to it. I feel kind of like really low. I feel low emotionally and mentally, so it's sort of pulling me to the ground, like heaviness pulling me down. It's hard to stand up. It's hard to have strength to move forward. And I feel like my feet weigh like a ton apiece. Like I just can't even lift my feet to even take a step. I'm sitting down on a chair at a table. I'm just waiting. I feel like I feel kind of concerned because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to accomplish if I can't step forward, if I can't do more, if I can only sit here at the table. I don't have the strength to step forward. I can't even get myself some orange juice and toast for breakfast. There's sort of a barren emptiness about all of this. A part of me hopes that somebody will come to my door and help me, because I don't have the strength to even help myself to anything. I can't do anything for myself. I'm trapped. I feel really heavy still. It's reminding me constantly how heavy my feet are and how difficult it is to move forward. I see a reflection that is laying in bed with really massive feet, that it just really heavy feet, and just laying in bed. Very sad. It's interesting. I feel like I've fallen asleep and gone off into a dream. This dream makes me feel a lot lighter. It makes me feel free, even free from my body and my human experiences. I feel free to travel the universe. I feel like I can go anywhere. I could dance in the stars. I could go to any planet. I could do anything I want to do. I feel free. But I also feel like I'm not necessarily free. I'm only free in so much as I am right now, but eventually I will have to return to that body and that experience, and it's sort of like a prison. And as I'm out in the freedom, it makes me feel heavy to think about the reality I have to still go back to that. I cry in the state of freedom, and I find myself once again in my body and my imprisonment. There truly is no such thing as freedom, my heart says, as I open my eyes and I stare at the ceiling and I know I am trapped and there's no way out of this. My feet are even heavier now than they were before, and it's impossible now to get to move. Even more impossible than it was before. I guess I will have to die this way. I guess I have no choice. I will end up having to die this way. There is focus on trying to shorten the life while lying in bed, hoping that death comes sooner by visualizing it in order to manifest it, by feeling worse and worse and worse every single day, worse than the day before, in order to prompt some type of illness or ailment. This one is extremely healthy, and no amount of their mind power, visualization skills are going to manifest this future. It's not their future. There is a spirit consciousness that shows itself here. There's lots of little lights, but they stand like people, but they glow like an orangish flame, but a white. It's a lot of intermixing. I see like a red lip smile. I see what is like pins standing like in a bowling alley. They sort of stand like that. So there's multiple ones with one standing in front and then others behind it, just like pinballs or pins at the bowling alley. There's lots of light that is shining and developing in this space. This person isn't necessarily aware of it, but the energy is getting louder and stronger. The energy is manifesting an inspiration that is different, that demands this one get up, that demands this one get the orange juice and the toast for breakfast, that this demands this one get it together and start taking themselves and their life and this moment seriously as the true joy and the true reason for why you came here. was not to succumb to the heaviness, but to overcome the heaviness and become a dancer in the stars while you are totally awake and alive as a human being. It's hard. This one is struggling here to do it, but it's sort of like drill sergeants. It's like spiritual drill sergeants that are constantly hammering into their head, get up, get up, get up, get up. Get on your feet, get on your feet. Go to the kitchen, get breakfast, sit down, drink the orange juice, eat the toast. Get up, get dressed. Go outside. I mean, it's constantly, it's like relentless. But it's giving this person the strength to start living their life again. And once they start living their life again, they start realizing that they can have the power to live life for themselves freely. They stop feeling so imprisoned within themselves because they are starting to become free in the world. This isn't easy to accomplish this. I mean, this is hard work, this is dedication, this is every single day. And it feels like a lot to overcome inside the heart in order to accomplish this level of freedom. But these pinball people, they're like red lip smile girl is in the front, but she has no face or body, but this sort of comes from an orangish white and like a flame of light. And they all stand sort of like pinball pins in the bowling alley. But she's smiling the whole time and just constantly like putting her magic into her and not going to give up on this girl, the one with the big feet. Happens to be a female. They all merge, all the pins merge into the one, and we discover that she is a human being who makes a difference in this person's life. This human being has a beautiful smile and a beautiful heart and will not give up on this person and will help them find a way to get on their own 2 feet and discover that life is enriching and life is powerful and life is a dance on the stars, even if you're on the earth. Her heart is focused on giving this gift of her soul to this world. This person is you, Amanda. She is a healer. They say you are a healer. They want me to say it though. They say she is a healer. She is dedicated to people. She loves and cares about people. She never gives up on people. She believes in people. She sees a better future, a brighter dream for people. She has saved this person's life. She doesn't even see it that in that way. She wouldn't see it as though she saved this person's life. She would see it as I'm being myself, and myself is to remind people what happiness is all about. And it would just feel natural, like an everyday inspiration. But on the deepest level, you, Amanda, have saved this person's life. And you wouldn't even give yourself that much credit. And you should give yourself that much credit. And the gambling establishment sees this about you every day. And now the question is, coming back to the doorway about everything we've seen up into this point. So the ball is in your court and you get to decide what it all means to you, but your gambling establishment smiles at you. You have given this bright spirit, this bright soul has given a gift to me, the gambling establishment says. You have given your light to heal me the way that you give your light to heal others every day. And I am so grateful and so thankful that you would care enough about me to heal me. And he cries because he's so thankful for your generosity and your kindness and your caring about every single person that works at this gambling establishment and that frequents the gambling establishment. You care about every single one of them, even the people you've never met. He says you are the savior of the little matchstick girl. So that's the end. That's all I can tell you about this. I'm just out of it a little bit. That was really intense journey. It was really incredible message. Thank you, Amanda, for being you, for this awesome opportunity again to connect with your space, and total mind-blowing experience. Thank you for sharing this openly for everybody. And that's all I can say. So for those of you watching, if you're interested in a psychic session with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.